All right, welcome back Once Upon a Shredders. Today I am going to walk through the tones of this PRS SE Sandblasted CE24. Look at this gnarly beast. That is one wicked looking guitar, isn't it? I had to buy it when I saw it. Honestly, I had an eye on one that was of the red variety, and I looked at it, went to work, kind of admired it at work every now and then. I'm a software engineer, so I was at work. Every now and then I'd refresh the tab, look at it and go like, yeah, you know what, maybe when I get off from work, I'll go ahead and I'll buy that one. By the time I got off from work, it wasn't available anymore. Somebody bought it. I was like, no, help me. My perfect guitar, the one that was meant for me, is now somebody else's. So I took a look through the other ones. I'm not really much of a green guitar guy. I don't know why. I don't have anything against green. In fact, emerald green is kind of one of my favorite colors. I just don't happen to, I've only owned one guitar that's green. And even though you'd think, looking at the wall here in back of me, that I only own blue guitars, it's not true. I just happen to put all the blue guitars on the wall, and all the rest of the guitars are over here, just because it made for a nicer background. But I have guitars of all varieties. And I do have one green one, a semi-hollow Gretsch guitar. And so anyway, I took a look at the green ones, and I saw this design. Well, design is, I say loosely, because it's really, you know, somebody picked the wood, and it turns out that this, I don't know, spider webby, I don't know what to call it. It just looks so cool and so gnarly, and I was like, wicked, I'm gonna buy that. And so, poof, went my little bit of money that I had earned from Sweetwater's Gear Exchange, and I spent it on this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk through all the tones just like I did with the PRS SE NF3, and how I'm going to do that is I am going to use two different virtual amplifiers, a Marshall and a Fender. I'm gonna hit the chord hard, and then I'm going to hit it gently. And in all cases, I'm going to be using essentially a clean tone. It's slightly overdriven, but for the most part, it's kind of clean. It's not really something that's like rock or metal. It's just slightly overdriven. And I'm doing that because, as I stated in my NF3 video, if I can get a clean tone out of a guitar, if it sounds good, clean, then I think it's going to sound good with any other tone. And in all cases, you'll see the graphic indicating, you know, exactly what you're hearing right now, which virtual amplifier and which effect that I have in the Universal Audio Console app activated. And you'll also see a graph that will show you which pickup I have selected. So let's get started. All right, we will switch to the Fender. All right, now for my thoughts. So as you heard, it has a nice variety of tones. I think the coil tapping works out really well. I think when it's coil tapped, it sounds pretty, I wouldn't call it Strat-like, but it certainly sounds nice and sort of thin, yet without a huge drop in volume. It sounds certainly, from my perspective, I have 4 Les Pauls, Gibson Les Pauls, so you know I'm a Les Paul lover if I have 4 of them. But I would say that the coil tapping / coil splitting, this is coil tapped, I think it sounds superior in every way to the same analogous tone on the Les Pauls that I have. They're okay, but when you pull the knob up on a Les Paul to split the pickups or coil tap the pickups, it doesn't really sound that different. It sounds a little bit different, but it sounds just as sort of fat as it did before, but a slight change in tonality. The PRS have done a really good job of making sure that when you pull that up, there is a clear distinction in the tone. The weight of this guitar, I think, it's pretty balanced. This is under 8 pounds. I don't think it's much under 8 pounds, but it is under 8 pounds. It has a nice hefty feel to it. It's contoured in the back, of course. You've probably already looked at the pictures on whatever music website you go to or right over at PRS's website. The front of the guitar isn't as contoured as, let's say, the NF3. It has more of a ridge here. The front of the guitar reminds me a little more maybe of a Les Paul in terms of the front, not the back. The back has the nice, body carve here. The 24 frets, of course, if you're a 24 fret player, then you're fine with this. There's some folks who don't really like 24 because they feel like their hand isn't where it ought to be if they're very, very used to 22 frets, and 24 just seems like it's too much. They have to adjust too much to play 24, but I've played 24 frets long enough that I'm comfortable with 24 fret guitars. I like it. It's easy to see the fretboard. There's I can't really complain. I don't really have a lot of deep feedback other than it's a comfortable guitar to play. The neck feels good. The neck is not really satin. I don't know what they categorize it. I have to look at the specs to see what PRS calls this. I mean, it has a satiny vibe to it. Obviously, it's finished, and maybe it's sanded, but it doesn't have the feel of satin paint on it. Let's call it that. It feels like it was gone over with something to give it a nice smooth feel on the back. But it's nice. It's not a gloss finish. I like both. I don't have a strong opinion either way. The ebony fretboard is nice. Is it ebony? I'm gonna have to double check that. Rosewood or ebony? I'm honestly not sure. You'd think I would know that, like I would care, but honestly, I don't really care all that much. But it's a nice thick slab on top here, and it seems like it's finished really well. I don't feel frets sticking out of the side. It feels like it's rounded fairly nicely on the edge. It's not over rounded. In other words, it doesn't feel like if I were to bend either way that my string would fall off the edge of the fretboard. It just seems like it's really well designed. I mean, the truth is, PRS right now is just firing on all pistons. Their SE line is just insane, really. It's just the value of the SE line is crazy, crazy good. They have set a new standard across the board for the industry. And my head is off to PRS. They just keep putting out really super high quality guitars at a really affordable price. This is my fourth, I think, my fourth SE now. Yeah, so this is my fourth in the SE line. I have more core guitars than I do SE guitars, but I have to say that the SE line is just magnificent. It really is very, very good. The quality is very high. What else can I say? The tuners are non-locking. I don't care. I could put locking tuners if I wanted to. It doesn't really matter to me that much. They don't feel cheap or anything like that. They just feel nice and solid. And there's nothing about this guitar that's cheap. Nothing. Other than the cost is relatively cheap for what you end up getting. But in terms of build quality, this is not a cheap guitar. This is a really, really high quality guitar for the price. And that's just PRS. It just is across the board. All of their SEs seem to be really good. PRS patented vibrato bridge, which is basically it's a Strat-like or inspired by a Strat type of vibrato bridge, but it's really stable. And that's one of the claims to fame for PRS's vibrato bridge, is that it's very stable, and they've worked on that quite a bit. And I would say that I would agree. It seems really stable. If you really wanted to do a lot of dive bombery stuff with this, then yeah, it's going to go out of tune. But every guitar that it doesn't have a locking, nut is going to go out of tune, no matter how nice the guitar is, whether it has locking tuners or not. It's just going to, because you got these different resistance points along the way, and friction, right? Physics and friction. So that's it. I really don't have a whole lot of, again, this is not really as much a review as it is a sound demo type video. I don't really have a lot of complaints. What do you say? It's an electric guitar. It's a PRS. It's well put together. It's not a complex guitar, other than maybe the wiring, the way they've done a really good job of the coil tapping. I don't know that that's complex per se, but they've put a lot of thought into making sure that the tones are distinct. It's not just like, oh, I hear a little bit of difference, maybe. You can definitely tell it's coil tapped, and the volume doesn't drop radically. So that's a real huge bonus. I mean, that says a lot. You know, I would have no qualms at all about this being the main axe for somebody who gigs on a regular basis. It's rock solid. It's rock solid, and I'm sure it would hold up just fine over time. That's PRS. What can I say? It's a PRS! So, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will talk to you next time in my next video, whatever the heck that's going to be.